Hey yo guys, ToTG here, my name is Michael, and I'm back with some more Shadowverse. So today I'll be going over the newly revealed Shadowcraft cards from the Tempest of the Gods expansion, coming out probably at the end of this month. I really love Shadowcraft, and I really think there's some cool cards here. As always, if you like my content, please leave a like or subscribe, it really helps the channel grow, and other than that, let's get right into it. So the first card I have here is Goblin Zombie. Goblin Zombie is a 3-play.23, that's nothing to write home about. It competes with Death Chaser and Healing Angel in Control Shadowcraft variants. It would lose to Skeleton Fighter and Rabid Necromancer in aggressive variants, just because those have better aggressive stats, and it's probably not going to be running Nephthys as it has no last words, and Nephthys would prefer either maybe Spartoy Soldier or Attendant of the Night, sometimes both. The interesting thing about Goblin Zombie now is that it has a end of turn necromancy effect. If you have 4 necromancy at the end of the turn, it will gain +2/+2, making it effectively a 3-play.45 if you have the trigger, which is really great. However, I don't like this card because it will consume those precious shadows that you need for other things like Death's Breath or Foul Tempest. Most of the shadows you will get if you play this card will have to come from the things your opponent destroys during their turn, so that you start off your turn with a certain amount of shadows. That means, unless you've accumulated a lot beforehand, and are playing like 2 Spartoy Soldiers on that turn, and then they destroy both of them, you aren't really going to start off a turn with the 6 shadows needed to trigger some really big and grand effects, such as, of course, Foul Tempest and Death's Breath. So I don't think this card will see much play, just because although it could be really great stat value, it's a delayed stat value, and the fact that it drains your shadows by that much at the end of the turn for only +2/+2 doesn't really make it worth it. On the other hand, have you guys seen this thing's evolved art? Like, holy crap, look at this! What the hell happened to it? Anyways, let's move on. So the next card we have here is the 1-play.11 Dead Moon Disciple. Now, Dead Moon Disciple is understated for her cost. 1 play point usually nets you a 1/2, such as Skull Beast or Goblin. The other 1-play.11 that Shadowcraft has, Skeleton Fighter, can become a 1-play.22 as early as turn 2, which makes it a pretty nice early game threat for aggressive Shadowcraft decks. However, I also believe that Dead Moon Disciple will be run in aggressive Shadowcraft decks because of her fanfare, giving an allied follower the ability to ignore ward. This is a pretty great fanfare that can help you push the last bit of damage you need in the middle or late game. She can push past wards such as Guardian Golems, Aurelia Regal Saber, Front Guard General, even the bats summoned by Queen Vampire. She's very similar to another card, Ethereal Form. However, I think she's strictly better than Ethereal Form because she's not only cheaper, she also puts a 1/1 body on the board. Ethereal Form is a 2-play.point spell that has a necromancy effect. If you have 4 shadows, it can give an allied follower +2/+0, excuse me. Ethereal Form is basically never ran, but I think Dead Moon Disciple will be run for the mere fact that she's cheaper and that she also puts a body on the board. Ethereal Form is not run in main aggressive Shadowcraft decks, however, it is run in an interesting meme deck, Deathly Tyrant. Deathly Tyrant is a 6-play.33 that if you have 20 shadows, it gains +10/+10. It also has Storm, which means if you do have those 20 shadows, it can become a giant 13/13 finisher card. It is pretty well blocked by wards. However, on turn 7 you can play this card and then you can play Dead Moon Disciple and give it the ability to ignore wards to hit face, which is a pretty interesting and pretty funny turn 7 combo. I do expect to see Dead Moon Disciple played in aggressive Shadowcraft decks and of course in the meme Deathly Tyrant decks. So the next card we have here is Grave Desecration. It's a 2-play.point Shadowcraft amulet. Shadowcraft usually doesn't run amulets. Burial Grounds is not that good in the current meta. It's just slow and it craps up your field. Midnight Haunt is found mainly only in meme decks that need that burst of shadows, such as the aforementioned Deathly Tyrant deck. And Spirit Cycle, while it's cool, the draw is too slow and too ineffective to be useful in the current meta. Grave Desecration, I think, will join the other amulets in the crap pile, because of its effect. It values 4 shadows, 4 precious necromancy shadows at 2/2. It gives you 2/2 but costs 4 shadows. I think I mentioned with Goblin Zombie, I don't think 4 shadows are worth just +2/+2. Certainly not worth just a 2/2 zombie on the board. And playing this card means it's going to drain your shadows and make it difficult for you to play things like Death's Breath or Foul Tempest on curve or just whenever you want to play them. This card, I don't think we'll see any play just because it undervalues your shadows, it bleeds your shadows out in a way you can't really control, and it even craps up your board with a kind of useless amulet. The art is really cool, but I really wish they had just made another card instead of this one. So now we're getting into some good stuff. This next card, Little Soul Squatcher, is a 2 play points 2/2, which puts her exactly average in terms of stats. She competes with Spartory Sergeant and Ghost Hound Sexton and, Unicorn Dancer Unica as a 2-drop in Shadowcraft decks, but she has an ability that has the potential to blow those cards out of the water. For only 4 shadows, and that's the same amount of shadows that you could use to give Goblin Zombie a pathetic +2/+2 or summon a measly +2/2 zombie, Little Soul Squasher takes those 4 shadows and uses them to squash the soul out of an evolved enemy follower. That is pretty incredible. She is basically a vanilla 2/2 on turn 2 and, turn 3 and even turn 4 depending, but basically Spartory Sergeant and Ghost Hound Sexton are either. The shadow from Spartory Sergeant is helpful in a lot of cases in more aggressive Shadowcraft decks, which I don't see those running Little Soul Squasher, but her effect is so good in control matchups because she has so much value. For only 4 Necromancy, you can kill an evolved Albert on turn 5. For only 4 Necromancy, you can just knock the stuffing out of an evolved opponent, like, no matter how big it is. That's just absolutely crazy. I think this card will definitely see play in control Shadowcraft decks. I think it may be one of the cards that pushes pure control Shadowcraft, not like a Nephthys variant or not like a Last Words variant, but like a pure control Shadowcraft variant back up into viability. As currently right now, control Shadowcraft is in a pretty bad place. So this next card is pretty interesting. Immortal Thane is a 7 play point 4/5, which puts it at the exact same stats as Underworld Watchman Kawi. Kawi is a very crazy card, however, because it has Ward and that awesome Last Words effect, destroy the strongest opposing follower at random and heal for that follower's attack. So Kawi is a huge swing card. Immortal Thane needs to be just as awesome to compete with not only Kawi, but also Lord of the Flies in control Shadowcraft decks. That being said, Immortal Thane does bring with it some interesting things. For example, he does summon 2 whites with him. Whites are 2 play points 2/1s. They are pretty weak, but they do have the effect when an allied follower dies, deal 1 damage to your opponent. However, despite this effect, whites aren't really run in aggressive Shadowcraft decks because they are pretty badly statted. They die pretty easily. Furthermore, Immortal Thane is kind of too expensive to be run in aggressive Shadowcraft decks. That makes the whites seem oddly useless. They may push a little bit of extra damage towards the opponent, and having more bodies is always good, but they are pretty small and pretty insignificant bodies. However, Immortal Thane also has a really cool Last Words, and because it has this Last Words, it could potentially be run in Nephthys Shadowcraft. But its Last Words is to put a White King in hand and change its cost to 0. White King is a 4 play point 3/4 that, at 4 Necromancy, gains +1/+1, Ward, and Bane. That's pretty serious value, especially when it costs you absolutely nothing in terms of play points. That being said, White King wasn't really run much as a card, even in control Shadowcraft previously, possibly because it just ate too much shadows for a kind of slow, insignificant effect. Not necessarily insignificant, but just like a slow and easy to work around effect, I suppose. However, because of Immortal Thane, this card might actually see more play. In Nephthys Shadowcraft decks, sometimes you're going to play Nephthys onto an empty field, and if you do play her onto an empty field, you're going to want some sort of value. If she gets Kawi, that's going to be kind of useless. So Immortal Thane may actually be run along Kawi in Nephthys decks because his last words of getting that White King are so good. I don't really see him in Control Shadowcraft because although he does give you massive value, he is kind of slow and his understatedness makes him not very scary. Plus, Control Shadowcraft has both Lord of the Flies and Kawi to run. It doesn't really need or want another 7-drop. And besides, one of these next cards is also a 7-drop. It's a legendary Shadowcraft card, and it will also compete for the 7 play point drop slot. So, Immortal Thane's a pretty cool card. I kind of imagine him in Nephthys Shadowcraft because he's more proactive than Kawi, but only time will tell if he's actually any good. So this next card is a card that everyone's been getting excited about for Shadowcraft. Demon Lord Hector? Demon Lord Hector is a 7 play point 5/6 rather, as a 7 play point card. He does compete with Kawi, with Thane, and with Lord of the Flies for a 7 play point slot. However, I think he is definitely worth running Control Shadowcraft because he has an insane ability. He won't be run in Nephthys Shadowcraft because he doesn't have a last words, and he will interfere with Nephthys pulling out Kawi or Thane, which is not really something you want. However, his effect summons a zombie for every 3 shadows you have. That's right, he values the 2/2 zombie at only 3 shadows, whereas the previous cards, Goblin Zombie and Grave Desecration, value those 2/2 stats at 4 shadows. I still think 3 shadows kind of overvalues the zombie a bit, but Demon Lord Hector's effect is so good that it doesn't really matter. So not only does he fill your board with zombies, probably at least 1, given that late in the game you'll have probably the 3 shadows to spare, maybe even 2 or 3 if you're really lucky. He also gives them all +2/+0 and rush. That means they can immediately begin training into your opponent's board. They can immediately start kind of, establishing board control, which Shadowcraft sometimes has problems with, especially in the late game. Demon Lord Hector is not that small himself. As a 5/6, he evolves into a pretty powerful 7/8 if you really need to trade with something big. Not only that, keep in mind that he gives everything on your board +2/+0, which means if you had something previously, he'll give that +2/+0 too, which can lead to some really powerful trades and a lot of value from this card. So yeah, I think Demon Lord Hector is, like Little Soul Squasher, one of the cards that will boost Control Shadowcraft back into a prominent place in the meta again, because it's just so much value, so much immediate, reliable value, and it can establish a big board that your opponents will be very afraid of. So the last card I'm going to review, and the second Shadowcraft legendary, is Minth of the Underworld. Now, this card's got me kind of conflicted. On one hand, she's not understated for her crazy ability. She's a 4 play point 3/4, and Shadow does enjoy more 4-drops. The current ones are like Erd and Necro Assassin in Nephthys Shadowcraft, Hell's Unleasher, Goblin Breaker Tina, Playful Necromancer, all of which are kind of underwhelming. They're not that good. Minth provides another option for a 4 play point slot, and she will almost definitely find her way into Control Shadowcraft decks because she is a pretty powerful card. She basically, when she's on the board, changes all your Necromancy effects cost to 0 while triggering them all. This can theoretically get massive amounts of value because Necromancy is all about value. She does synergize okay with Goblin Zombie and Grave Desecration, I will admit, but I still don't like the idea of those cards because without her, they become, Shadow Drains and just not good in general. However, because of her crazy ability, she will often be targeted by the opponent. They will really want to remove her as soon as possible. This means that we really kind of have to think about same turn combos when we think about her. So, same turn combos. Let's look at 3 of the most common Necromancy effects used in the current meta. Phantom Howl, Death's Breath, and Foul Tempest, all, coincidentally gold cards, are pretty good cards. However, when we think of combining them with Minth, they become less good, because assuming we have to play them on the same turn that we play Minth, Phantom Howl becomes an 8-point play, which is not so good. Death's Breath Minth becomes a 10-point play, which is really kind of underwhelming. And Minth Foul Tempest becomes a 7-point play. That being said, that's not bad. This is still a lot of value you're getting from her. It's just not as overwhelming as you might think from how good her effect sounds. Admittedly, Minth may also help enable some follower-based necromancy effects, such as Apprentice Necromancer's effect, or even Charon's effect, which are all pretty good value, and just pretty good cards in general. However, because she's basically targeted as soon as she's played, I don't really foresee her doing any crazy combos, except with one card. On turn 10, you can play Minth Deathly Tyrant. That gives you not only Minth's 3/4 body, but a 6 play point 13/13 monster. You thought Albert Levin's Saber was scary? Nah, Deathly Tyrant can hit face for 13 damage on turn 10. That's way crazier than 10 damage on turn 9. And Deathly Tyrant doesn't even require an Evo. If you give him an Evo, he hits for 15 damage. That being said, Deathly Tyrant is a bad card outside of Minth, but it's interesting to see that a lot of these new cards actually do support Deathly Tyrant in an interesting way. Silver Moon Disciple can't be played with Minth and Deathly Tyrant, but, you know, it does support Deathly Tyrant. So yeah, Minth, despite sounding like a really crazy good card, doesn't actually enable as many combos. People have been comparing it to Bloody Mary, who has the same like auto kill effect, like you need to kill her, as Minth does, but Bloody Mary has like a lot of Bloody Mary's combos can actually win the game if you do enough damage to your own face that, you know, bounces to the opponent, whereas Minth's can't. Minth's combos give you a lot of value, but they don't win the game, and that may mean the difference. I still think she will be run in basically any control shadow deck just because she is so good and she can give so much value, but I don't think she's as crazy as some people make her out to be. Anyways, that's the end of the card reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you did, please leave a like or subscribe. It would really help my channel grow. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.